Hello, good morning, students of class 12th economics. Welcome to Punta sir's master class on development economics. And today our topic of discussion will be the critical analysis or the critical analysis of PAPS, and it stands for Poverty Alleviation Program that was implemented by government. Yesterday we discussed about a couple of poverty alleviation programs, and today we are going to make a critical analysis of it. And students always remember this thing, that whenever you are asked for a critical analysis, then you have to focus, you have to tell both the achievements, that means plus points, and drawbacks, that is the minus points of the topic, whatever it may be. If you are asked for a critical analysis, then you have to tell about the plus points and drawbacks both. So here, as we are making a critical analysis of poverty alleviation program implemented by government, then first we are going to discuss about its achievements. As you can see in the list, the achievements are few, but the failures are more. So, what is the first achievement? It is the number of people below poverty line reduced drastically over the years. As you can see here, that in the year 2004-05, 37.2% of our population was below poverty line. That means they were not able to afford the minimum or the basic amenities of their life. But in the year 2011-12, so 4-5 to 2011 and 12, the data, of course you will find the fresh data in your new publication books. As I have got a very old publication of books, that's why only up to data up to 11-12 is given. So you can change the fact, you can change the number according to your new publication book. So 37.2% in 2004-05 to 28% in 2011 and 12. So this is a remarkable reduction in the number of people below poverty line. That was one of the achievements of poverty alleviation program. Then the second achievement was government make it a law, that government make a legislative decision in the legislation, in the parliament, they passed the bill and they increased the minimum wage rate of labor. Earlier, the laborers were getting very less wage in return of their work, but now as the government increased the wage rate, a number of the people just jumped over the poverty line. So only these two achievements are there, but when we are speaking about the drawbacks of poverty alleviation programs, we have 6 points to discuss. So point wise we will discuss. The first one is benefit received by non-poors as well. Non-poors, who are non-poors? People who are above the poverty line. The benefits of poverty alleviation program implemented by government was not only received by poor people. Some of the non-poor people also received the benefits. How? Let me tell. Suppose the government reduced the tax rate on say agricultural supporting product like fertilizers, like capital machineries, capital goods like machineries. So they are not below poverty line. The producer who is producing fertilizer, the producer who is producing capital goods, they are not below the poverty line. But when government reduced tax rate, obviously they also got the benefit of that. This is a misproportion of the government's poverty alleviation program. The second point being, allocated resources was not adequate. Seeing the quantum of poverty that prevails in our economy, that the spread of poverty was widespread in our economy, but to alleviate poverty, to control that situation, to bring more and more people above the poverty line, what program and policy government implemented, it needed cost, and the fund government had to implement various programs was not adequate. Means it was not sufficient. Government needed more fund to finance the poverty alleviation program. Next point coming, could not achieve desired target. In the beginning of the policy period, that is when government thought of or when government planned different policies to implement to alleviate poverty, then obviously they had a set target in their mind that by spending this much in a duration of this much time, we are going to achieve this much of success. But the desired success was not achieved, and the chief reason behind it was that actually the program and the plan and the policies were implemented by government officials and bank officials. And unfortunately, those government officials and bank officials were not honest. They were corrupt, they were inefficient in their job. That's why the economy could not achieve the desired result. Then the fourth point being, local institutions and organizations were not involved. Just try to understand this point, that the policymakers sitting in Delhi, they devised the plan. But how they got information about what exactly is required? They collected data, and of course in our statistics class we will discuss that data are obviously important information, but they are not always reliable. So based upon those data, those information, they analyzed the problem and they found, they devised a solution for that. But the ground reality was quite different from that. So actually, had they considered the local organization who were directly involved with the program, then the program and the policy that they devised might have been better. But it was totally ignored. The fifth point being, marginally over poverty line, people who were marginally over were totally ignored. This is one of the most important drawbacks of our poverty alleviation program. Suppose the government set 1,000 rupees to be the BPL line. That means if a person is earning 1,000 rupees, he is just on the poverty line. That means he is able to afford all the basic amenities of its life. And if it is set at 1,000, then if someone is earning 999 rupees, then he comes in the category of BPL, that is below poverty line. But consider, if a person is earning 1,001 rupee, then he is rich. He is not coming. He is not going to get any benefit of the poverty alleviation program implemented by the government. So now we consider what is the difference between 999 rupees and 1,001 rupees? Only 2 rupees. So is that a sufficient reason to reject the benefit of the poverty alleviation program that implemented by the government to people who are just marginally over the poverty line? So that was a totally misappropriation of the program. Then the final point being, poor people were not involved. Poor people for whom the program is being designed, they were not considered. They were not asked. They were not involved in the program. It was the officials, and unfortunately those officials were totally corrupt and inefficient. So how we can expect a drastic change? That means how we can achieve the desired result, what success that we have planned for. So these all are the drawbacks of our poverty alleviation program. So this is all about the critical analysis of poverty alleviation program, that is the plus points and the drawbacks. So almost this is the end of the chapter poverty. So today I am going to send the notes as well as the question answers of this chapter, and tomorrow onwards or in the next class we will be discussing the 5th chapter of our macroeconomics, that is aggregate demand. Thank you and have a nice day.